This movie was directed by William Brent Bell and distributed by STX Entertainment. The budget on the film was $10 million. The box office was just over $64 million, meaning that it made $54 million off its budget, which is, as I always say, is not that bad for a horror film. If it was almost any other genre, that would be horrible and it would be considered a fail for them. Now, I'm going to start with the Google synopsis and then go to Commons' media, as I usually do. A young American named Greta takes a job as a nanny for an 8-year-old boy in a remote English village. To her surprise, Greta learns that the child of her new employers is a life-size doll. They care for the doll as if it was human, which helps the couple to cope with the death of their own son 20 years earlier. When Greta violates a list of strict rules, a series of disturbing and inexplicable events bring her worst fears to life, leading her to believe that the doll is alive. You don't say. You talk about creepy doll movies. Yeah. Chucky, Megan, stuff like that. By the way, I'm being totally serious when I say this. I really hope that there's going to be a Megan versus Chucky film. I really hope so. But I digress. Now, the cast isn't that large. You only have, 6 main people here. So, of course, the main character, Greta, played by Lauren Cohan. You have Jim Norton and Diana Hardcastle as Mr. and Mrs. Heelshire. And by the way, that's not to be confused with comedian Jim Norton. That's a totally different person. Apparently, there's a few public figures out there named Jim Norton. I think I saw that there was a politician by that name. I think I saw there was a sports player with that name. So, just so you know, this is the older actor right here. You also have 2 people playing Brahms. Young Brahms is played by Jett, Klyne, and older Brahms is played by James Russell. You have Rupert Evans as Malcolm, and you have Ben Robson as Cole, who's the abusive ex-boyfriend of Greta. And let's just say that based on how he treated her, I don't feel sorry about his fate. Just to give a little bit of a spoiler. Now, the reviews on this movie don't surprise me too much. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 31. Internet Movie Database, Parent Reviews, and Common Sense Media all gave it a 60. And Google users, as usual, are a little bit nicer. They gave it a 78 to 81%. Now, let's jump over to Common Sense Media and go over how they did their synopsis. And as usual, I see 81 kids commenting about this movie and 20 parents commenting about this. Always backwards. So here's how they break it down. American nanny Greta takes a job in a remote mansion in the English countryside where she's told she'll be looking after a boy named Brahms. But when she arrives, she's shocked to see that Brahms is actually a doll, that his parents want her to follow a daily routine with it while they're on holiday. At first, she ignores the doll, but then strange things start happening. Her clothes disappear and she finds herself locked in the attic at night. A grocery delivery man, Malcolm, tells her everything he knows about the family and helps out, but nothing can prepare Greta for what's really going on inside the house. Overall, they gave it, like I said, they gave it 60%. The parents gave it 80, the kids gave it 80. So is it any good? While it's not a terribly original entry into the creepy doll horror subgenre, this fright flick nonetheless offers interesting characters, a strong cast, expert pacing, and a spooky atmosphere. Resorting to annoying jump scares. I don't know if I would say it was annoying. I think they were interesting. But then again, I get it, opinionated. Annoying jump scares only a couple of times. Director William Brent Bell takes his time exploring the scary old house, using animal heads, off-kilter angles, and sound to give the boy a sense of dread. Bell even goes back to that old standby, the shower scene, to add vulnerability to his character. The scary things that actually happen are nothing new, but that they happen to the appealing Greta helps a great deal. She seems like a real person with a good sense and an actual past, and she relates to Malcolm in a genuine way. Likewise, veteran English thespians Hardcastle and Norton bring dignity and style to their roles, which could easily have been jokey throwaways. Overall, I would have to say that I would have to give this movie maybe about a good 6.5. And I think the main reason behind that is because I think the build-up was kind of slow, and I don't think that the real action started to occur until about the last, I would say like the last 20 minutes of the movie, 15 to 20 minutes. So once you get to the end, I think it's worth a watch for anybody who is a fan of those types of movies. The creepy doll, the suspense, the thriller, the drama, all that stuff. So you've seen stuff like Megan. I think it's a little bit different than that. But anything that's in that subgenre, like The Conjuring, like Insidious, anything like that, we're not talking about a typical gory slasher. This isn't Jason, Freddy, or Halloween, but I think it's worth a watch at least once. Is this something I can watch again in the future? Hard to say. I'm leaning a little bit more towards probably not, but I mean, who knows? I might just be scrolling through and put it on as background noise or something. But they do have a sequel, and I think that sequel came out in, I can't remember what year off the top of my head, but once I watch it, I know it's on Netflix. And this one right here is on Paramount Premium, so that's with the Showtime, or you can rent it on YouTube or Amazon. And when I watch the second movie, I'll let you know what I think about that. So I got plenty more coming. Like and subscribe. And if you've seen the movie, tell me what you think about it. Put in the comments below.